CR Drake 63 here today. Today's video, we're going to take our first shots with the Henry 44 Big Boy. Hope you'll enjoy. So we're here at Oakdale Gun Range. How's that for an introduction, bang? And we're going to test out these this brand new Henry rifle. In addition to that, we're going to shoot it side by side with that Marlin 336 and 3030. We've got a couple different types of ammos for each. I just want to kind of compare how the old standard shoots to my new rifle, and knowing that they're different calibers, we get that, but they're both lever actions, they're both brush type guns, and I'm real interested in seeing how they compare in terms of handling, accuracy, and things of that nature. First thing that's going to take a little bit of getting used to for me is this tube loading procedure that you have with the Henry. I'm used to loading the side gate on the Marlin rifles that I have. This is really something that once you get used to, it isn't really overly cumbersome, and in some ways it's a little bit easier. As I mentioned in the prior video, it's a lot easier to unload when you have rounds in the magazine, but this is my very first shots with this firearm, and we're getting used to a new sighting system. It is a buckhorn like I do have with the Marlin, but a little bit different buckhorn. It's a little bit different trigger, and of course, whenever you're firing a new rifle, you don't know what the recoil is going to be. I would describe the recoil with this particular firearm as being a little bit more punchy than, say, for example, the 3030. Now here you see me, I'm getting hung up because I'm using these hollow point handgun rounds I had left over from a 44 Magnum. Just in terms of the cycling, didn't really like the hollow points as much. Now we're going to look at these guys right here with these flat nose. Okay, this is really what you want to use, something like this. So let's see if it cycles better. So this is what cowboy shooting looks like, standing up freehand and pumping them out. See a few here where this was me more taking my time on the bench, but this bigger circle represents where we were hitting it hard, just standing up and pumping them out. Not gonna sit here and compare this kind of firearm to a precision Spitzer fire kind of bullet scoped rifle. I'm not going to shoot that as well, but as far as a brush gun, hitting a target this size at 50 yards, freehand rapid fire, might have been able to help General Custer out a little bit with that. Just waiting right now for some guys right down there to finish up. We're going to go change out targets, and now that we've seen what this rifle likes in terms of a function test, we're going to go ahead and work for some accuracy here off the Sandbags. Just curious for purposes of comparison. You'll see when we walk down and look at that target, though, that it's fine shooting freehand if you're shooting at a critter out at 50 yards. Not going to be a problem at all. Not going to be a problem at all hitting it. We do definitely know that this is going to be a firearm that prefers the flat nose type bullets to the hollow, and some of that might be breaking as well. In the meantime, you can use this butt plate or the receiver as a means by which to brush your teeth or comb your hair. It's pretty. So this is what shooting off Sandbags in a little bit, taking our time looks like. You'll notice that the later shots are going off to the right. I'm starting to definitely feel some recoil at that point, but this is the sight picture and I'm just getting used to it. Here we're getting ready now to go ahead and see what we can do with the Marlin 336. We're going to start off with what this gun tends to like the best, which is the Remington core-locked, typically in 150 or so. Gate style loading, as mentioned before, and you know, it's a little bit handier to do. Obviously, you don't have to remove a tube and all that kind of thing to do. When you go hunting, you're typically not going to be doing a lot of reloading, but here you can see, as I had started out as well, with the sandbags, it's just not a comfortable shooting position, and it doesn't put the stock in my shoulder at a nice angle, so I end up beating the crap out of my shoulder with the sharp parts of the butt of the gun. So I stay away from that, as you'll notice here, that I just don't want to use the sandbag. In fact, these guns are meant to be shot standing up more than anything else, and freehand is how I like to shoot a lever action rifle. It's probably not the most accurate way to shoot any rifle, but hey, here we're using the Federal Fusion 3030, and again, just trying to get a couple different types of ammo here. In the brush, I really don't like the Hornady lever action type of ammo with the ballistic tip, because now you're going to get the deflections and things that you do with a Spitzer bullet. But both of these are fine ammos to use, and this is just a matter of me firing a gun. I'm a lot more familiar with the sight setup on this Marlin. Obviously, I've had it a long time. It's a beautiful JM Marlin edition. It's pre-Remington, and it cycles very nice, much better than it did when it was new. And I suspect, you know, where you have the Henry being comparable in how smooth it is, it doesn't cycle quite as far out as with the Marlin. And here you can see my results. This is Shootin 3030. I'm not fooling around with that recoil into the shoulder, so it looks a little bit better. But you can see, you know, another fine lever action rifle. I don't really want to get too big in comparing because the rounds aren't the same. The quality and the workmanship on these old Marlins is great, though, and it's not as pretty as you're going to see with the new Henry. But here, looking at the sight system, you can kind of get an idea. Yeah, it's still a buckhorn sight, but you've got some different things to account for and get used to for each of these systems.
So we went out to the 100-yard range next. We'll look at those results in a minute, but such an easier gun to shoot when you're not fooling around with sandbags and that kind of stuff. You're just shouldering it, and a lot of fun. We're going to go down and see some results. Okay, so honest engine here. I took 16 shots. The last 6 of them are standing, and those are your shots that are low and high. But you'll count 16 bullets. This is at 100 yards. As you can see, this is where we're seated, not leaning on anything, not using anything except leaning elbows on the table, and then you can see as we go out that's standing freehand. But what you have in pretty much every case here, is a critter at 100 that's going to be taking a fatal shot with a 44 Magnum, without a doubt.
Just some general thoughts about the Henry, besides the fact that it's such a pretty gun that you can brush your teeth and comb your hair in the reflection off of this nice, beautiful polished brass receiver. This gun does extremely well cycling with the flat nose type of rounds, which are typical for 44 Magnum hunting. Where I did encounter a little bit of trouble was shooting some hollow points, true hollow points, which would be for a revolver, and they don't tend to cycle as easily as the square nose type of rounds do. But once I was able to determine, okay, where's our point of aim, because every site's a little bit different. Once I was able to determine that, I could see where this is something where I'm going to repetitively hit a deer-sized target at 100 yards from a standing position, not a problem. 50 yards again, not a problem. I've got some practice to do if I want to be an accurate, rapid-fire guy with this. But it's a heck of a firearm. I love shooting it. Definitely you want to shoot this from this position, and standing, even preferred to sitting. But once you do the stuff like you'll see me struggling to kind of get low around a sandbag to test for accuracy type shooting, that's when we really put quite a sting on the old shoulder there. So you will see that that was a situation. But overall, very, very pleased with this firearm. I would highly recommend the Henry 44 Big Boy, and I'm sure their other variants are equally as impressive. I thought I was going to have problems with just how pretty this thing is, and that's not usually a term I apply to a firearm. But in fact, we're going to go ahead and let this thing take its licks. This is not a safe queen. This is a rifle that I'm going to shoot, and I do plan to hunt with at some point this fall. So I want to thank you for watching as always. Thank you to folks who subscribe. This is Dr. Drake 63 reminding you, join the National Rifle Association. Have a great day.